Hey guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I am bringing you my off-the-grid readathon vlog. I am finally vlogging the off-the-grid readathon. If everything goes according to plan, who knows if it actually will or not. I call my computer the graveyard of lost vlogs because I have the starts of so many vlogs on there. Because I tend to do this first bit and then just completely forget about the rest of it. But because it's the off-the-grid readathon starting today, I thought that I would actually give vlogging a try for the weekend. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, no, it started at midnight tonight, or last night, this morning, and I haven't done any reading yet because I was asleep. And then I slept through 2 alarms this morning, which was pretty impressive, and I rolled out of bed and like scrambled to my laptop as fast as possible, and I have been working ever since. But lunchtime has just started, so I am going to settle into my comfy reading chair, which is just here. I'm sure you will see footage of it later, and I am going to get started on the readathon. So if you haven't seen my TBR video that I did, which I can link above if you're curious, I have these 3 books that I want to read for sure, and then we have a prompt to read a book by a Black author, and I don't know who I'm gonna read for that because I have a ton of stuff that I want to get through before the end of the month. It is the 17th today, and yeah, so that one is a little bit more up in the air. I don't know what I'm gonna read for that particular challenge, our only challenge, and we'll see how that goes. I'm sure I will report back to you guys later. But I'm not going to go through what these are about because I've done that a million times. But my 3 books that I have on my TBR for sure are all manga books. I have been saving these specifically for the readathon. So I have the 2nd volume of Death Note, the 2nd volume of The Girl from the Other Side, and the 1st volume of The Promised Neverland. Now, I'm not much of a manga reader. I haven't been for years, as I explained in a video at some point, maybe my birthday book haul or something like that. I used to read some manga in my high school. It was pretty much impossible to escape. You were going to read manga at some point, and I happened to have not had like a book to read for our like silent reading period or whatever. So my friend lent me, I think it was maybe Fushigi Yugi, and I kind of descended into the manga spiral for about a year, and I haven't really read it since, which is such a shame, but it also means that all of my series that I was really into when I was in high school 17 years ago, they're all done and over. So I'm trying to discover some new series that I'll like. I feel like I'm a little bit picky with what I like from manga and from anime, another thing that I haven't been into in a really long time, but these 3 seem really great. So obviously I have 2 2nd volumes. I really loved the 1st volumes of Death Note and The Girl from the Other Side, and I'm super curious about The Promised Neverland. It looks really, really interesting. So I think this is going to be the one that I start with, and then I'll go ahead and read the other 2 and figure something else out to read along the way. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and settle down and get reading, hopefully invite a cat or 2 to sit with me. We'll see how it goes, but I will report back later. So I have now finished with work and I can really get underway with the readathon. I was going to do so in my lovely reading chair, but as you can see, it is currently occupied, and honestly, wherever Sophia wants to sit these days, Sophia gets to sit. So I'm not going to disturb her too much because she looks extremely comfortable. I'm probably going to go and have a nap, because I am such a wild and crazy person, and then after that I will really get cracking on my reading. But because I did have a lot of manga on my TBR, I have already finished 2 books and I've added a couple more onto my TBR. So I have decided this is what I'm going to be reading this weekend. So I have now finished the 1st volume of The Promised Neverland, which I loved. I thought it was really, really interesting. My only problem, and I'll mention that with the next book that I finished, is that manga tends to be a little bit too short for me to really, really, really fully get into. that's just the format. That's just how it goes. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is maybe when I pick up the next couple of volumes, I'll go back and revisit this, and then I'll go ahead and read the rest of them. But I had kind of thought that this book, as I've mentioned in like when I hauled this and everything, it's about kids in an orphanage. Everything's very happy, they're very well fed and clothed and blah blah blah, but they can't go outside kind of the fence that's around the orphanage. And one day they find out that there's like secrets being kept from them. I thought that this was gonna be like Never Let Me Go vibes. It is not. It is absolutely not. This like took such a left turn in such an amazing way. It was like getting punched in the face. I did not know what to expect with what was going on here, but it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. So the other one that I finished is the second volume of The Girl from the Other Side. I'm also probably going to give this 4 out of 5 stars. It didn't kind of hit me as powerfully as the first book, but again, like this is even shorter. It's such a tiny, tiny segment of the story, and I think it's quite a long story. I think there's like 11, maybe more volumes of this. So this is another one where I'm going to try to collect some more volumes and read a little bit more, but this was really great. I really enjoyed that. So now I've got my 3 books that are on my TBR. So I've already talked about the second volume of Death Note. I'm really looking forward to that, but I feel a little bit manga'd out today. So I have decided I am going to try to read through Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown this weekend. I've divided it up into 3 because there are 3 days in this readathon, which means about 150 to 155 pages per day, which is super doable. I've only had a brief glimpse at the very beginning of this book. I was listening to it on Scribd, and then Scribd took it away from me because I was listening too much. As you may know, they kind of limit some of the stuff that you have on your saved list. So I've sort of had a taste of this story, but not a huge amount, so I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard such good things about this one. I don't really necessarily know what it's about. It's one of those ones where I've just kind of dove right in, and I don't really want to look because I'm going to find out myself here soon. So I'll leave links to everything down below. And then I also added Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan because I talked about this in my most recent video, which was series I want to start, and not only did a ton of people say that they love this and they were like, yay, please read it. Judith from Dead Good Book Reviews, who's one of my favorite people on the planet, was like, please read it because that would make me really happy. And I was like, well, obviously I'm going to chuck it right on top of the TBR. So I'm hoping to at least start this weekend. Because this is middle grade, it's going to go super, super fast. So I'm not hugely fussed about starting this now. I'm probably going to concentrate more on A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, but I am really looking forward to getting into this. It sounds like such a fun read. About almost midnight, I think, and I thought I looked a lot cuter than this, so my deepest apologies for the state of my hair and my face. But I have basically spent the entire evening devouring A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I'm really, really enjoying it. I am 200 pages in, having started from 0 pages. I haven't really chugged through something like this in a while, and I'm really, really enjoying it. My goal, I think I said earlier, was 150 pages each day of the readathon, but I am 50 pages ahead. I'm going to go head to bed, crawl under the duvet, and maybe read a little bit more. So yeah, that's very exciting. So tomorrow, my plan is, at the moment at least, depending on if I read anymore, is to be at like page 350 or so. No, let's do page... If I do page 400, yeah, let's do 350. And we'll see if I manage to push any further along, but I'm really, really enjoying this. It's such a, it's just got such a, I don't know, like a, it doesn't feel like a lot of the YA that I have been reading lately. It's got like extra layers to it. I'm really enjoying it. I think part of the reason for that is because we have a dual narrative, 2 points of view that alternate each chapter. And one of those point of view characters is the princess, the reluctant princess, you know, her, she was never expecting to become the heir to the throne, and, you know, she has a tense relationship with her mother, she desperately wants to escape, all of this stuff, which you feel is kind of like standard YA, but she's quite, I don't want to say she's unlikable, but she's difficult. She's not a perfect character by any stretch of the imagination, but she has so much kind of charm to her, and there's so much to her that's so wonderfully relatable, so I'm really loving her. But the thing that I really love about this book is the other point of view is actually a boy, is the sort of hero of the story. Obviously, at some point we're going to get a romance between the two, I believe, and he's amazing. And I think part of the reason for that is the fact that he doesn't feel like a YA hero. I feel like YA heroes often you can kind of drop into a template, and often I actually don't like them. They usually don't feel like they kind of match well or kind of deserve the heroines who are always amazing. I feel like sometimes with YA you can get kind of laziness with the characterization of the boy and the hero, whatever. But he's wonderful. I adore him. His name is Malik, and he is a cinnamon roll. Well and truly. Very reluctant in this role that he's kind of been thrown into. He and his family are refugees. They're trying to earn the money to basically buy fraudulent papers for their mother and grandmother so that they can sort of live freely because they're members of an oppressed people. And he's an amazing character and I adore him. I just want to give him a big hug throughout this whole thing because he's so sweet and so lovely and trying to kind of overcome that sweet nature. Because I had no idea what this book was about when I first started, but basically we have this boy. He and his 2 sisters are traveling to kind of the capital city to participate in something called Solstasia, which is basically this huge festival that happens every 50 years that coincides with this big astronomical event. A comet goes across the sky, and there's this huge kind of celebration, and it's what sort of guides what everything is going to be like, what society is going to be like over the next 50 years. It gets complicated and all of that. Basically, his little sister, who's the cutest thing in the world, is taken hostage by a kind of demonic type presence, and the only way he can get her back is by agreeing to murder the princess. And of course we have the princess's point of view in here as well. It's really good. I'm really enjoying this. This is fantastic, and I'm really glad that so many people have been talking about it, because otherwise it would have just completely slipped past my notice. I think I initially sort of caught onto it because Kate from Reading Through Infinity, who's a great UK book blogger and now a booktuber, and I can link her down below, she started talking about this because she somehow managed to get early access to this book via Scribd for the audiobook. I don't know if she had early access or I had like delayed access, but as soon as she started talking about it, I started looking into it and I got really excited for this book, and I decided I was just gonna buy myself a copy of it, and I'm really glad that I did. I'm really, really loving this book. So that's enough gushing. I am going to head to bed. I will read a little bit more of this, and then tomorrow I of course have 2 other books on my agenda. So I don't really know how tomorrow's reading is going to shape up. I do want to hit my kind of page count for A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I might just keep going with that instead of like stopping and moving on to something else, because I am enjoying that so much, but I do still plan to read these 2 books over the weekend, so we'll see how it goes. Right, okay, do you want to tell the people what you've done?
Decorated.
hate you.
So our washing machine's packed in, and I was making some very futile attempts to like fix it, which mostly just meant kind of moving things and looking at it. And
looking at it going, that's broken.
Going to need a plumber for that. But I found what must have been there for about 10 years is like one of those old like packs you'd get in like the kids magazines you'd get at the bottom of newsagents, like with sweeties and stuff in it. It was One Direction from like 10 years ago, and had a sticker pack in it, and Justine was asleep because
out cold
standard. And I thought it would be pretty fun to put the stickers up, so I put up like 3, and then I was like, I can make this more fun.
You put them on my desk,
I did.
Which is like direct line of sight for me. And bear in mind that he put this up in my room, the spare room, which is where I film and where all of my books are and where my desk is. It's basically my room. You violated the sanctity of my room.
I have. So, Justine, how many have you found so far?
I think I found 12 out of 19. There were 18, but there's also a special hologram sticker that he put in the lampshade, which is really annoying. I looked up and was like, actually, you were like, I'm really proud of one of them, and kind of went unintentionally, and I looked over, and sure enough, there was a hologram sticker in our lampshade.
It was.
Which was good.
I'm not very subtle.
No, you're not. But I found them. There were 3 on my desk, so I didn't have my glasses on. I was fixing my fringe, and I was like. Anyway, I did have my glasses on, and I saw like where I keep my books for like what I've hauled and like what I've read. I was like, what is that red and white thing? And I leaned in, and it was a One Direction sticker, and like just a multitude of light bulbs went off in my head. I was like, you dickhead! Fully expecting to be like, what did I do? And just burst out laughing from the living room, which was really rude.
Yeah.
So I found there were like 3 there. There was one in the lampshade. There was one behind my like flower pots in the windowsill. There was one behind my vase with my wedding flowers. There's apparently one in a book somewhere.
On a book.
On a book, not in a book, sorry.
That's key.
It's very key. It's just been tons of fun today. And my sister apparently suggested putting one on Dax, which didn't happen because he couldn't find Dax at the time. Here's Sophie. There's none on Sophie either, so we're all good. But yeah, that's kind of thrown the readathon off a little bit so far today.
Yeah, I've kind of ruined things.
You have, like you so often do.
Yeah, it's a day ending in Y. So. But there are 6 more to go.
7 more.
7 more. I know where 3 of them are, and that's only because author sister Julia reminded me about one of them.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 that are just a complete mystery.
Yeah, Julia was on like FaceTime while I was like tearing this room apart trying to find them all, and the 2 of them were like talking to each other on thing and like, oh yeah, and that one's really good, and like miming stuff to each other, and I'm like,
there's 3 I'm really quite proud of. That will it annoy you to know that I can see one?
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
No, I see it! Oh, Sophie, I'm sorry! Oh, I feel like an asshole. I just spotted it! Oh.
Ow.
I'm sorry. Oh, I feel worse for scaring Sophie than for Sophie hurting you.
I know.
That's kind of what this day has been like so far, though. So that's 13, though. I'm really annoyed. I'll do a montage of me trying to hunt through the room for more stickers. Oh, I'm so... You know what's funny is I knew that as soon as I like sat down to film something, there'd either be one behind me or I'd be able to see one, so...
write in if you can spot the one in the background.
If you ever spot one in a video, I don't care if it's this one or another one, let me know, because I swear I've torn this room apart.
Not enough.
You putting it in my camera? No, okay. There's none in the light either. Anyway, despite that fun interlude, I'm almost done with A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I have about 150 pages left.
Sticker just falls out.
Oh my god, I'd be so mad. I had taken the cover off of this, and before we started, I like put it on and I was like... You've like ruined my life. But anyway, I'm gonna spend the rest of the day ignoring you and finishing my book, because it's what you deserve.
It's what I want.
I can go find Sophie, I feel really bad. I was just about to sit down and start like a little reading thingy, and I noticed... God damn it! 6:20 on Saturday evening, and I have just finished A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, which I loved. It's so good, and I'll talk about this more in my July wrap-up, but like, this was excellent. This is like the YA book that I have been searching for ages. I think I mentioned yesterday that one of the things I really loved is kind of the cinnamon roll hero and the kind of unlikable, or more, not unlikable, but kind of more difficult, less perfect heroine. And she continues on with kind of subverting your expectations of how a YA story would go. And she does it in such an amazing way, and it's such a fun read. It's so good. I loved it. I love this book so much. So I would very highly recommend it if you're thinking of picking it up. It is a fairly new one. And I would love to hear if you've read this as well, because from the things that I've heard, people are loving this just as much as I did, which is super exciting. So this was brilliant. I'm so happy that I read this. This is the big win for the weekend. And yeah, I'm just really pleased. I literally just finished this. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, so that I can kind of let it sink in before diving straight into something else, but I'm probably going to pick up Death Note Volume 2 next. And it's still Saturday, which means that I have an entire day of reading for tomorrow, so hopefully maybe I can just marathon The Lightning Thief tomorrow. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I have been kicking this readathon's butt. And if you've seen my last few attempts at the Off the Grid Readathon, which I neither vlogged nor really talked about, I guess, except maybe on Twitter, I did not succeed quite as much as I already have. I've read 3 books so far for this readathon, one of which is a book that I hauled this month, and one of my goals is to read all of, or at least as many of, the books that I haul as possible in the month that I actually get them. So as not to add to the TBR too much, and so this goes with that goal. I finished this book. It was amazing. It's a new release. I'm so happy. Can you tell I'm really happy? But I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, maybe see Scottish Husband for a minute, check in, see how his day is going, because I have been ignoring him, with the exception of the occasional like walk by glare when I'm like going into the kitchen for some water or something like that. I did manage to find another One Direction sticker. Hopefully I stuck that in the montage there. Yeah, there's still 4 to go, I think. Apparently I'm sitting really close to 2 right now. I don't know, guys. It's making me nervous. I don't know where they are. So enough of that nonsense. I am going to go hang out with Scottish Husband and the cats and have a really good evening, and I am sure I will pick up another book at some point later today. So it is Sunday today at like 6 o'clock. I totally forgot to update you guys today, but I'm doing it now. I'm actually updating, or not updating, I'm actually editing this vlog just now. A very rare shot of me at my desk. I have all of my books that I've read this month here, all of my books that I've hauled this month here, and a delightful collection of One Direction stickers. So, so yeah, in terms of the stuff that I've actually managed to do, I have now finished Death Note Volume 2, which I really enjoyed. I think I wasn't quite as blown away by this one as I was from the first one, just because that first one was the introduction to the story, and it was so kind of like mind-blowing. And while I did enjoy this, and I enjoyed the kind of updates to the story, it didn't hit me quite as hard. There's also some kind of weirdness around all of the female characters in this series. It's a slightly older manga, I think. Isn't it like 2004 or something like that? Hold on. 2003. So yeah, it's just a little bit older, but there's like lots of panty shots, and there's a female character that gets introduced who's a bit, yeah. Some of her kind of treatment of her character and stuff like that is a little bit not what I normally love, but I am still really intrigued by the story. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the books when I get paid on Friday of this week. And yeah, I'm really excited to continue on with this. I'm really enjoying this, and when I finish it, I think I've already said I'm going to watch the anime as well, which should be really fun. It'll be my first step back into anime in genuinely like 17 years. So that's all well and good. The problem with going from horror to children's books is that it's a really hard transition. So I started Percy Jackson and I got a couple pages in and my brain was like, just not really feeling it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this vlog, get everything kind of ready so I can have this up for Monday hopefully, and I'll see if I can get back into this book. If not, I have a few things on my hauled shelf, one of which is Catfishing on Catnet, which is by Naomi Kritzer. Angela from Literature Science Alliance was talking about this. I think she's going to be posting a review soon, and I was really intrigued by this, and it's nice and short, so I might do that. I've got Redemption in Indigo, another Angela recommendation. You can tell that Angela is one of the people who, like, I really trust. I've also got Sorcery of a Queen by Brian Naslund, which is the sequel to Blood of an Exile, which is one of my favorite books from last year. Really good, really fun fantasy. I'm gonna sneeze, hold on. Anyway. really good fun, really good fantasy. I'm really excited for this, but it's a little bit long. And I'm not shy of long books, but I'm gonna sneeze again. Sorry, hay fever is still hitting me really badly this late in the summer, probably because I'm not going outside much. But tomorrow, on Monday the 20th, I'm going to be starting my reread of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is a mega big fantasy book. I'm going to be reading this with my friend Amber and my friend Cassidy. I think it's Cassidy's first time, and for me and Amber it'll be a reread. This will actually be my third time reading this book. The reason for that is because I keep like starting the series intending to catch up and then just not doing it. So I've read the first two books in this series, so the plan is reread the first two, read Oathbringer for the first time, and then be ready for The Rhythm of War in November. So we're going to be starting this and we're going to be doing our buddy read, and I don't really want to start a new book when I'm going to be doing a big buddy read. So I don't know, I have a couple of things on my Kindle. I'm sure I'm in the middle of a million NetGalley books. Maybe I'll give this one another go today. I don't know, we'll see. So I will update you later, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, so it's actually not been that long, but I think I'm actually going to wrap up this vlog here. Soph seems like she's having a little bit of a tough day. She's having a little bit of a quieter day. She has ups and downs. If you didn't know, she's quite sick, terminally ill, and I would just like to spend some time with my best friend. So she's currently flumped in my reading chair, so I am going to hang out here for the rest of the evening, and I'm going to take another stab at Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Seems like something nice and light and easy, and I can hang out with Miss Sophia here. So just to recap everything that I have read so far for the readathon, I finished 4 books start to finish, which is really good. I'm really pleased with. So the first one was The Promise Neverland, the first volume. I am giving this 4 out of 5 stars. Then I have The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 2, which I'm also giving 4 out of 5 stars. Then I finished A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and I am giving this 4.5 or maybe even 5 out of 5 stars. You guys could probably tell if you have watched the rest of this vlog that I loved this book. And then finally I finished Death Note Volume 2. I am also giving this 4 out of 5 stars. So that is it for this vlog and for the Off the Grid readathon. I would love to know in the comments below what you read this weekend, regardless of whether or not you participated in the readathon, and if you've read any of these books. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, check back soon, and I will see you next time.